Welcome back to another episode of Naked Truth with Abby. Today we are here with Venee Mcgee. She's the founder of Ebb and Flow Collective, and she's a believer in the possibility and the power of both individual and collective potential. Venee is a visionary thought leader in the area of spirituality, holistic wellness, personal development, and mindset. Her vision not only welcomes women from all over the world or from all walks of life, but guides the liberated woman to make a positive impact in their lives and the world around them. Through the use of various workshops, retreats, and personal sessions, Ebb and Flow lays the foundation for living a more mindful and meaningful life. Let's welcome Venee. She's here with us and she will give us some more details about who she is and why she does what she does. Thank you for
Yay!
coming.
Yes, thank you so much, Abby, for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to share just a bit of my story. And, the topic is limiting beliefs. So,
Right.
talk about that and how it shows up and why it shows up in our life. So, thanks for the introduction. That was so great. Um, you described everything so well. Again, my name is Venee Mcgee, and I'm the founder of Ebb and Flow Collective. We are a nonprofit. We're based here in California in the Bay Area, so very close to San Francisco. And we really help all women from all walks of life restore balance into their lives.
Right.
By really getting rid of, the all or nothing mindset. I feel like that's something I really struggled with. Was like all or nothing. Like if I, couldn't give it my all, then I would do nothing. And that really, tended to hurt me. So I learned how to navigate that. I grew up in the foster care system. So I was, abandoned by my biological parents. And then my time in foster care was very abusive and manipulative and just toxic and unhealthy. And so I really had to like be self-sufficient and self-reliant on my own for a very, pretty much my whole life. And so I really wanted to heal, to find healing. My mom passed away in 2015. And so that was like the time when I felt my life really opened up to just what was possible, what was out there. And I read the book, The Secret, and The Secret is all about the law of attraction. And so the law of attraction, basically, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically saying that what you think will happen. Thoughts become things is the
So
law of
you
attraction.
attract and the things that you think about, the things that you say, the things that are on your mind, basically.
Exactly, that you're constantly giving and feeding energy to.
Right.
And so this was the first time I had ever heard of anything like this. No one I knew, practiced this or knew of this theory. And so I just really was like, okay, I don't know about it. And so, because I grew up like super Christian and just thinking like my life like was predestined for me, like what was going to happen in my life was God's will. I had no power over my life and what was going to happen. And so I felt very powerless, actually. And so it wasn't until that I read this book that I felt a sense of power and responsibility over my own life. And I stopped like, being the victim and blaming my parents and things that happened to me, and just was like, okay, like, what is it that I want? What is the type of life that I want to live now? And think about that. And that is, really kind of what planted the seed and everything for me to want to share this with so many others, because like myself, I felt like there are people who are out there who must be seeking answers in a different way of life, a different way of thinking, and I just really wanted to give them a safe space. Oh, like ebb and flow is this one-stop shop concept, so you can come to us and find anyone, kind of like any type of practitioner. Like you can find tarot readers, Reiki people, people who read past lives and who work with ancestors and things like that. So it's so beautiful. And then we also, but it's all done in this way that's very accessible and practical. And, you can easily understand it and you're not afraid. And we have that safety that we can guarantee to our audience and the people who come to us, to really feel safe, using our platform for different healing.
That's awesome. And thank you for that. You touched on one point that I want to expound on, and it's the fact of taking responsibility for ourselves and taking responsibility for things that is happening in our life and not blaming others, because when we play the victim, it's just going to keep going and there won't be any solution, because we're not trying to find solution in ourselves, we're trying to ask someone else to fix the issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cycle, that we become conditioned to. And to me, it's really because we're asking the wrong question. A lot of times we're asking, like, why is this happening? Why me? Uh,
Right.
why couldn't I, or why couldn't my parents just be? And so that's like, those are very disempowering, like low vibrational questions. And instead, I feel like the question should be like, why not you? Like, and then, or maybe the
Oh,
question could be, like, what can I do with this opportunity, with
right.
what
Because
has happened to me? Because now, I have this arsenal of tools. Like I know one thing for sure, like I'm so resourceful, I will never be broke. So like, because I had to, like, hustle and grow up and do different things and different jobs, like I will never be broke. And so that's like, because of my shitty upbringing, it's because I have all of these resources and stuff now. So instead of being like, oh, why poor me, I'm like, yes, I'm so, like, excited that this happened, because now I have all these tools to never be broke.
yeah, and I've always said it happened. Instead of saying why me, it happened. Say what no. So the situation has happened. You need to think about what no instead of why me.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's an opportunity. And I think we we oftentimes think that we are, human beings having this spiritual experience, but it's the opposite way. We are actually spiritual beings having a human experience. So we are here to learn how to be, more human like. And that's going to be um, defined differently by each person.
Right,
But to me, the human experience is learning how to have, like, more forgiveness and compassion and stuff like that. um to me, because it's so challenging to be human that I can't think of any other reason.
all right. So today's topic is on limiting beliefs. So we all go through these. Sometimes we know what they are. Some people we don't know. We have never heard of this phrase before. So just explain to us what are limiting beliefs.
Yeah. So limiting beliefs, again, similar to the law of attraction, I kind of, introduced it that way a little bit, but they're anything that emotions and thoughts that we believe about ourselves that are, not true. It's really that simple. And a lot of times they are negative thoughts and
Right.
negative beliefs, that we are conditioned to. And that continue to form and manifest in our subconscious minds that tend to take over us when they go unchecked.
And how do these limiting beliefs develop in us as humans?
Yeah, so I mean there is so many ways that they can be developed, from just being born. Again, going back to like my theory of like we are spiritual beings having this human experience. So, I believe in reincarnation, that we've been here for many different lifetimes. So they're not just one set of limiting beliefs. They're like, many lifetimes of limiting beliefs. And I think they're also formed from, childhood, from experiences that we had. Maybe a kid on the playground said you weren't pretty enough to hang out with them, or you didn't run the fastest. And that's just, this seed that was planted and that you gave attention to, and it continued to grow. And it just became a habit, and you just continue to think of that limiting belief because it's just a part of your habit, just like, waking up and going to the bathroom in the morning, first thing in the morning, and brushing your teeth. Like that is a habit, a routine that you got into. So thinking these limiting beliefs are a habit, it's a routine that you get into, that you absolutely have the power and capability of breaking.
Right. And saying that, it brings me back to the point where I was in all age school, that's like kindergarten coming up.
Mm.
And we always play this game, the brown girl in a ring. So we'd always think there's a brown girl in the ring, and then we pick and all of that. But I was never picked to be the brown girl, and I was never
Ah,
picked to be a part of the family. So
yeah.
I'd had this thought and this misconception that I wasn't good enough to be the brown girl and a part of the family. So that then was a limiting belief that I'd started to growing myself, where I thought I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't good enough to be a part of the group. I was just a part of the ring. Because not one time when we played that games in all those years was I the brown girl or was I picked to be a part of the family. So it definitely starts from some of our experiences and some of the things that we go through as children. What is one limiting belief that you have dealt with, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. So one limiting belief that I dealt with, that I've like had personal challenge with. I mean, I had there's a lot of them. Okay, let me first say that there's a lot, so it was hard to just pick one. But the one I wanted to talk about was when I was like starting off in my career. I like had this limiting belief that like people would find me out, like somehow that like I didn't know enough, or I wasn't good enough, or not that I'm fake or anything, but just like, I don't know, just it was some weird limiting belief. So what I would do was it was a fear of being seen. And so I would like really shrink myself. I would tend to like not even do things like this actually when I first started off in my career. And so it's so cool to see how much I've grown. But
Growth.
yeah. But yeah, that's, I feel like one, like a big limiting belief that I had was just like people would find me out, and that they wouldn't like what I had to say. Like because I
Right.
feel like I say things, that are kind of controversial compared to other wellness, people out there. And so yeah, I had a real fear with that.
And how have you overcome it over the past couple of years or
Yeah. You know, I think, I don't know if it's something okay. I believe that it's not something that you like have to work to like overcome. I think that I found acceptance, and in that acceptance, I know that like what I have to say, that like what my intention is like much greater than anything, any of my fears. So
Right.
because I know that like, my intention is to like share my love and my story and what has worked for me, what I have seen work for other people, that is like so genuine and pure. And so I just tend to really lean into like my why, and that helps me to really quiet the limiting beliefs. And like I said, it's a habit, and so I just realized like, oh, here I am, like in this habit when I'm like, doing something new, like even like recognizing like when the limiting beliefs are showing up, and it's like, oh, it's because I'm doing something new. And so it's like that's why that limiting belief is showing up,
Right.
because I'm doing something new. So it wants to like, pretty much protect me. They're also kind of there to protect you in this weird way. And so I can just say like, I'm safe. I can do this, and yeah, and just do it.
And I definitely can relate to the limiting belief of not wanting to be seen and just
Mm,
want to stay in the background. I'm trying my best to come out of that. I've,
yeah.
yeah, and I've been doing as much as I can to. So
Right.
I
Well,
wanted
that
to,
is formed also from like that experience of being on the playground and not being seen, right? Because
right.
I have also had that experience of like, like being in PE, and they're picking teams, and I'm the last one to be picked, and I'm like, shoot, no one wanted me on their
And
team. And
everybody is cringing when you're the one left. Nobody wants that one.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, these little experiences, they really they're like planted in the back of our heads, and we just have to notice like, oh, there it is again.
Yeah, and now we have to look at the point of knowing self. It all comes down to self in one aspect of it. It all comes down into knowing self and believing that you deserve more than what you're getting. Because not all the time everybody is going to give you what you think you should get. And it doesn't mean that you
Absolutely.
should change what you think you should get because you're not getting it from the persons around you.
Well said.
I want us to discuss some of the most common limiting beliefs that we have out there so that the viewers can know them and can identify what has been affecting their life and how they can what they're doing and how they can challenge those.
Okay, yeah. So I wrote these down. So the first one that I thought that I hear a lot is I don't have enough experience. And so a lot of people, they want to try something new. They may want to start a new job or a new career, but they're afraid because they fear that they don't have enough experience. And so how I see this play out is like they're always taking courses or investing in a coach, or always like doing something more because they're feeling like they need to accumulate more experience. And
Right.
really what that translates to is the fear of rejection. And so like, my little takeaway is that, you know people are going to say no. Like not everyone is going to like you. And so like that is, the world, that's life. And again, back to what you were just saying, like as long as you know yourself and you like yourself, it doesn't matter if other people don't like you. Like, you can just, because you love yourself, you're filling
Right.
yourself up your own cup, you have your own self-love. And when you have that, people will be attracted
People
to
will
you.
gravitate to you. The
They will
right people
gravitate.
will
They don't. They
gravitate.
won't even know why. They will tell you, I don't know why, but I just love your energy. People tell me that all the time. I'm like, I could be looking bummy, and like people will tell me that. I'm like, all right, thank you. Yeah. Okay. So the next one that I often hear is I am unlovable. A lot of
Mm,
that it forms for us for so many different reasons. But I think especially in women, we see a lack of like male influence, like father roles and stuff like that. And so I think that really is hurting us as a society, like not having strong father figures. And I think for me, it definitely is true that I was looking outside of myself for love, looking to men to, show me love. It actually wasn't until my fiance, who I'm, engaged to now, that he was like, he told me like, I cannot, like, give you like, I can't make you, like, how did he say it? Like, basically, like, I can't make you love you. Like, you have to love yourself. And that was so real. Like, and I was like, wow, like for him to tell me that was, I felt very fortunate. And then I feel like that is like a fear of not being good enough. Um,
Right.
so the fear of not being good enough is so painful to deal with. I know I've had to deal with that because, being abandoned as a child, there was always this underlying, layer of just not feeling good enough. Like I wasn't, good enough for my parents that they, would give me up. But that is not totally not the case. But that is how it manifests, in our psychology and in our lives. And for me, um, yeah, what helps is again like loving, like really loving yourself. I know you guys are probably going to get tired of me saying that, but it really goes back to self and
It
you
does. It does.
learn.
I truly believe that it does.
Yeah, you really have to love yourself. Like it really starts with you. Like when people will say you cannot love someone else unless you love yourself. I used to be like, yeah, right. I love so many people and I don't love myself. And it wasn't until I began to love myself that I realized the type of love that I had been experiencing. And I was like, oh, I get it now. Um, yeah, and so then I think the last one is I have to work hard to make money. And so then that obviously comes down to a fear of money. And to me, fear of money is just a lack of education. I think no one has really been properly taught like how to invest their money.
Financial education is very low.
Yeah, yeah. So I think like if you talk to someone like a financial advisor and you kind of come up with a plan and how to best structure your money, you can really make your money work for you. I have been so broke. I have had lots of money. Like, I've been just fine, like whatever. But like now, like working with someone who knows about money, like who has actually studied it and knows about money, has given me the confidence to like, just feel better about like taking a day off and like not working because I'm like, I know that like the money is working for me. There's an abundance out there, and I am deserving, like you said earlier, like going back to like I'm worthy, I'm deserving, because a lot of times we just work because we feel like that's the only way to accumulate money. And I think you can have wealth and experiences and stuff and you don't necessarily need money to attract those things. So I think it's really all how you perceive wealth.
Right. I think I was about to ask you what techniques we could use, but I think you touched on those during explaining the types of limiting beliefs that are common to us. Do you have any
Okay,
other?
I have a few
Okay,
techniques just like that
good.
are clear and concrete. So I would say
Right.
like practice affirmations. I really, you could just Google or YouTube affirmations. There's lots to come up, or look on our website. There's some. Pick a topic on the limiting belief that like you have, and then write down like all the things that you have around that limiting belief and really understand it, because again, like, education, knowledge is power. So the more that you know about yourself, the better you're going to be able to navigate like your life when those things show up. We can't be afraid to look at our past or look at those things, because it's really it's information. It's there to teach us something and for us to learn and overcome that. And then um yeah, then the last thing is to just like give yourself permission to honor your limiting beliefs so that you can move past them. I think like not being afraid to like experience or look at like the fact that you're having a limiting belief, and like don't shame yourself, because it happens to everyone.
Right. Thank you for those. And as you touched on the fear of revisiting your past,
Mm.
I revisit my past, but I revisit it um, in private, whereas there's been something on my heart that is saying to do uh, a series around it, where I'd talk about the past and how the experiences have guided me now and what I've learned. But I'm so afraid of doing that. It's like I'm saying no, I'm not ready, but God is telling me to do it. So I'm just there. I need to do some more deep searching as to I don't even know where to start actually. I really
Yeah.
do need to do some more deep searching because I do have a fear of going back there. But now I'm realizing that some of the things that I thought I've dealt with are still there as wounds beneath the scars. So they're still there, even though I thought that it didn't really affect me that much. Knowing
Mm.
my older days, I'm realizing that, girl, it did affect you. So you
Yeah.
need to deal with them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Well, good on you. And to me, like, when you get those type of hits, I call it inspired action. Like, listen to it. You are being guided by, the most high power. So you have support to be able to look at that like you're ready. And all you have to do is ask, like, ask the universe, like,
I
where do I
have been.
start?
I
Yeah, like,
have been, and I
you
just say,
have
you know
the
what? It starts with turning on the camera.
answer.
That's where it starts, and I just can't turn it on for that reason. So
Yeah.
I say after I'm finished with this one, I'll be coming out with that one and just running, just hit the floor running and see where it takes me.
I'm
But
excited for you.
thank you. I really need to do that. And the next question, what advice do you have for someone who is suffering with limiting belief and is struggling to find self, to accept themselves and find who they really are?
Hmm. I mean, the advice I would have is to really ask yourself, like, what is it that you want out of this lifetime? And be willing to surrender. And because the thing is that we know the answer, we have the answers, but a lot of times it's not the answer that we want. So we're like, I'm
Right,
gonna keep searching for a different answer, hoping a different answer is going to come, and it doesn't come because we already have the perfect answer, even if it's like hella hard to like take that step. And it just requires you to take that first step.
right,
So that is the best, and to ask for help from the universe because it wants to support you. I kid you not. I have been drinking alcohol since I was like 15. And like consistently my like life, I worked in the club system, so I like would love to drink. And during the pandemic when it started, I was drinking so much, like every day. And I just like, I don't know, my spirit was just telling me like I want to stop drinking. And I was like, I don't know how to stop drinking. Like I've been drinking for so long. Like, and it was so scary because I was like, I've used it socially, like all these things, like some like it's gonna take away from my social life or how I at least know how to socialize. And so I just said, you know what, universe, I need help. I'm asking you for help and please, help me. And literally the next day I stopped drinking and
Awesome.
I haven't drank since, and this is like 11 months ago.
That is wonderful. That is great. And that definitely shows that you just have to ask. You just have to be intentional as well with your
Exactly.
asking. So that
Exactly.
is wonderful. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Even the other day, my cousin stopped smoking, and I'm so excited for him. I'm so grateful that he could say, you know what, I want to stop and ask the universe, and it just happened for
That
him.
is so beautiful. Great on him. Yeah.
Um, what's my next question? Oh, yes. In your opinion, can we eradicate these limiting beliefs, or it's something that we have to just learn to deal with? I think you touched on that earlier as well.
Mhm. I think it's both. I think that they can be eradicated, but I think like instead of like like getting rid of them so much, like I think learning to have acceptance with them, there's nothing wrong with that because you know, I think the more like you push it away, the more you want it. So the more you're going to think about getting rid of the limiting beliefs, the more limiting beliefs you're going to have. That is like the law of attraction, right? But if you are thinking about the experiences and the things you want to have, then that is in more alignment of what you want. And I mean,
Right.
limiting beliefs, they're always going to be there. They're always going to show up. They're always going to be there. So there's no way to get rid of all the limiting beliefs and never have them unless you're like crazy. Um, but so to me it's like learning more so again like learning about yourself, how you react, how you respond so that you can control the limiting beliefs and they not control you.
Right, and finding the right techniques so when you see that limiting belief arriving, you know how to deal with it or why it's happening.
Exactly.
All right, we're at the end of our interview. I really enjoyed speaking with you. But before you go, I wanted to give us your final remarks. Tell us where we can find you, your social medias, and your website, etc.
Okay, yeah. So you guys, it was so great hanging out with you, Abigail. This is such a great conversation and so needed. It's so great to just remind myself of these things as well, and these practices and
Right.
tools, because we're constantly learning. And you can find me at www.ebb, that's EBB, and flow, FLOW, co.org. So that's www.ebbandflowco.org. And you can find us on Instagram at Ebb and Flow Collective, and the same with Facebook.
Wonderful. And again, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And just keep being great. Keep doing what you're doing. I really enjoy
You
your
too, sister.
company.
I'm so
And
excited for the next step in your journey, and I can't wait for your next series.
thank you. And
Yeah.
see you
All right.
later.
Talk soon.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that was Venee Mcgee on limiting beliefs. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you took something from this topic. And remember to listen, take notes, and take action. Listen, take notes, and take action. Limiting beliefs are things that we all go through. We all have these types of beliefs when we don't believe in ourselves, we don't believe in our abilities, and we can curtail them. We can understand them, understand why they're happening, and how to deal with them. Again, I want to tell you this quote again because this quote is real. Living your naked truth will always disturb those living well-dressed lies. Living your naked truth will always disturb those living well-dressed lies. Big up on yourself, love and love always. I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend that the good things them happen over Naked Truth with Abby. Thank you guys for always tuning in. Thank you for the love. I really appreciate it. And hopefully soon I can do a big giveaway to all the persons that have been here with me. And we are growing. We are loving upon each other. And just big up on yourself. Stay strong, stay safe, and keep loving upon yourself and loving upon the world. See you soon. Bye.